Hi, Mark here. It is Friday, December the 12th, going on 10 a.m. Eastern. That's going on 3 p.m. GMT. Well into the US session, going into the closing stages of the European session. US dollar performance today. Little bit of a green candlestick left on the dollar index. You can see that that was a full green candlestick, which would be dollar strength buying the US dollar index. During the Asian European session, the US has given up those gains. That's why we see the wick left behind. Resistance 98.15, supported 97.96. And it looks like this US dollar sell-off now going to test the support level. Sellers will look to test and break below this level, and that would be dollar weakness selling the index. If US dollar can fight back, it would look to bounce up off the support level and look back up at the resistance level. But certainly US dollar weakness now that the US session is underway. Let's have a look at the majors, starting with the euro. And there you see the same reversal, uh, slight green candlestick, very slight, but that you see the wick below, so that was a solid red candlestick during the early Asian European session, which would have been selling euro, buying US dollar strength. US dollar's given up those gains, or euro has taken over and bounced up off this support at 117.21, resistance at 117.45. Buyers of euro, sellers of US will be looking to break above, test and break above this resistance level and go higher. Let's have a look at the pound against the US. A little bit of a different picture here. We're still seeing a red candlestick that's selling pound, buying US dollar. So US dollar hasn't given up gains against the pound as yet, the way we saw against the euro. I've got resistance at 134. I've got support at 133.59. If the pound is going to fight back, if we're going to go and US dollar weakness and US dollar give up these gains, buyers will be looking up at this 134 or higher. A continuation of selling the pound and buying the US. If the US can maintain against the pound, we'll be looking at the support at 133.59. Let's have a look at the US yen. Here also we're seeing US dollar holding on to its gains against the yen. I've got support at 155.44 and I've got resistance at 156.13. The dollar's given up some of those gains. You can see the wickets left behind, but still pretty strong against the yen so far. Let's have a look at the hourly. And there you can see uh, US buying US dollar, selling yen up until the last few hours. And now you can see this red candlestick that's selling US, buying yen, yen fighting back. US would be giving up the early gains. Sellers of US here would be looking down at the 155.44 support level. And let's have a look at the US against the Canadian. Definitely a mixed picture today. We're seeing that because here we're seeing US dollar weakness from the start and maintaining. I've got resistance at 137.78 and I've got support at 137.55, and sellers of US, buyers of Canadian testing that support level right now. So US dollar hasn't shown strength against the uh, Canadian. From the get-go, it's been the Canadian. Sellers will look to test break below this 137.54. If I scroll out a little bit, you can see it's a tough level, this level here. Uh, a continuation of US dollar weakness, Canadian strength will be tough to break here, but if it does break and push below, we'll be looking at this $1.37 level. If US dollar can fight back against the Canadian, buyers will be looking up at the 137.78 level. So strong US dollar to start. We saw that against we saw that on the index, giving up those gains on the index, giving up those gains as well against the euro. We're seeing that, but it is a mixed picture all round. We've got resistance, support levels to work with. We'll, as technical traders, act on what we see, and good trading, and I will see you at the end of the day session.